AEW star Matt Hardy confirms that someone changed a recent AEW booking for an episode of AEW Collision, suggesting that it wasn't the AEW CEO Tony Khan, but rather possibly CM Punk. Details on that, plus could Will Ospreay's next opponent in AEW be none other than Bryan Danielson? Details on that, plus Chris Jericho has slammed the negative pro wrestling fans. Rob Van Dam's match on Collision is now confirmed to be a tag team match. We'll let you know who's going to be involved in that one. Eddie Kingston is no longer to be taking independent pro wrestling bookings. We'll let you know why that's the case. Several former WWE legends paid tribute to Dolph Ziggler after he was released from the company this week, and Devon Dudley opens up about the Dudley Boys re-signing a Legends contract with WWE. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Matt Hardy, who has opened up on one of the several controversial stories surrounding CM Punk's tenure as the focal point of AEW Collision, with several talents being banned or blocked from appearing on the show. Now, Matt Hardy has made some interesting remarks about a recent booking being changed, but not by his boss in AEW, that being Tony Khan. It's Matt Hardy's birthday today, as it is mine, and the wrestling legend celebrates turning 49 years old while working in the pro wrestling business for over 30 years. Currently, Matt can be seen teaming up with his brother Jeff Hardy for most of the part, along with some occasional singles matches in AEW. Prior to AEW firing CM Punk with cause 3 weeks ago, there were regular stories about how Punk prevented people from appearing on AEW Collision, since that was the only regular show Punk appeared on and had a lot of control over it, including, quote, veto power in some cases. When Punk had a lot of influence on AEW Collision, he was able to control what wrestlers were or were not booked on the show. Since Punk didn't like the Elite, they never appeared on Collision in a live setting while Punk was there, and friends of theirs were not used on Collision either. Matt Hardy is deemed to be close with the Young Bucks, so he wasn't on Collision since it started in June. However, Hardy did appear on AEW Collision recently, but that's after CM Punk was fired. On his Extreme Life with Matt Hardy podcast, Matt went into detail about what happened when he was originally booked for the June 30th episode of Collision and how things changed. Here's what Hardy had to say, quote, "I'm actually going to go into this a little bit because people ask about what happened. So whenever we were in Hamilton, we were there on Wednesday live for Dynamite and Rampage taping for Friday, and then there was a Collision the next night. So I had been asked a few days before if I would be willing and free to stay for Collision because Ethan Page was officially turning babyface on that Wednesday night on Rampage. We were going to be together in solidarity. We were going to be buddies and have each other's back. He was going to protect me in the match we had there." Then, that evening, about 6 p.m, it was clear. They said, "Oh, it's going to be good." From Tony, he says, "Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it." MJF, "Thank you so much for doing this. It's going to be great. It's going to add so much to it." Ethan Page, "Thank you so much for doing this. It's going to add so much to it." Then we do our bit on Rampage. We get out of there. We leave. He then continues by saying, "I drive back to my hotel in Toronto and it's almost midnight. Then I get a message from someone in the creative process and they said, 'Just so you know, you and Isaiah aren't needed tomorrow.' I already changed my flight to Friday with the travel prior and everything else, and it was already confirmed by Tony Khan that I was going to be there. Then we found out that night that I wasn't going to be there." As he continued, Matt Hardy revealed that somebody caused his booking to be changed, but it wasn't the AEW CEO. He said, quote, "Then the next day, I couldn't fly out until 4 p.m. that day, and then I got to Charlotte, then my flight to Raleigh kept getting delayed, and eventually it was cancelled, so then I had to get a car and rent it and drive home, and go to Raleigh the next day and get my car. It ended up being a travel nightmare. I was flying home that morning at 8:30 or 9 a.m. to get home and spend the day with my family, but then it cost me a total day and then half the other day because I had to go back to Raleigh to get my car and whatever else. So someone changed that during the day and it wasn't Tony Khan." He then finalized by saying, "So I don't know. I can't point fingers at any names, but I'll let people come to their own conclusion. You can make your own deductions out of this. That's what ended up happening, and that's why myself and Isaiah, we weren't needed at Collision when everyone had asked us to do it for days on end, and then later I said I would, and Tony Khan approved it. 5 to 6 hours later, it was not happening, which was very strange, so you can make your own deductions as to what happened." So many people have been suggesting that was CM Punk. We had heard stories and reports reports suggesting that CM Punk had vetoed several people actually being allowed to attend AEW Collision tapings or being involved in them. Matt Hardy would fall into that category of people that are close to the elite, close to the Young Bucks. So what are your thoughts on what Matt Hardy says? Do you believe it to be true? What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you even care about this drama now that CM Punk is gone? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Now, Will Ospreay could be set for a feud with Bryan Danielson in the future, or at least certainly that's what he wants. Following major victories earlier this year over AEW stars Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, IWGP UK champion Will Ospreay may have revealed his next target in All Elite Wrestling. Speaking with Tokyo Sports, Ospreay spoke about the possibility of a match against Bryan Danielson. While many would be hesitant to predict a winner between the two, Ospreay confidently stated that he is currently better than the American Dragon and would defeat him in a straightforward fashion. He said, quote, "There's only one opponent left, Bryan Danielson. For the past 7 years, Bryan has been called the best wrestler in the world. I respect him too, but right now I'm the best wrestler in the world and I want to prove it. Bryan beat Okada even with a broken arm. It's very tough. But on the other hand, it's easy to get injured. I'm confident that if I fight, I'll win easily." Ospreay referenced Danielson's main event victory over Kazuchika Okada in the main event of the Forbidden Door show, cross-promoted by AEW and New Japan earlier this year. At the very same event, Ospreay defeated Kenny Omega to win back the IWGP US Championship. The aerial assassin has since defeated Chris Jericho, pinning the wrestling veteran in a high-profile match at AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium earlier this year. While Ospreay currently fancies a bout with Danielson before the AEW star steps away from full-time competition next year, Danielson will be busy at Wrestle Dream on October 1st. At the event, Danielson will finally go one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. It has been speculated that Ospreay could be involved in that big trios match that involves the likes of Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita, as well as Kota Ibushi too. So let me know your thoughts on a feud between Danielson and Ospreay. Is that something you'd like to see? Now, Chris Jericho has opened up about fans in pro wrestling focusing on the negative. Over the last year, much attention has been paid to the backstage drama unfolding in All Elite Wrestling, with news of behind-the-scenes disagreements often overshadowing what happens on screen. Speaking about the subject while appearing on Busted Open Radio, AEW star Chris Jericho shared his thoughts on fan interest gravitating toward the negative side of things. He said, quote, "It's wrestling though, man, you know, it's only rock and roll," Jericho said, referencing the Rolling Stones. "People like to focus on the negative. I remember when I got into a fight with Goldberg in Milwaukee, it was out on whatever version of the internet was then 10 minutes later." However, Jericho admits that things have gotten worse with the rise of social media. While there are plenty of positive things happening in AEW, Jericho feels that those are drowned out by the negativity. The AEW star said that the company is aware of the issues they've been dealing with and noted that those problems have been, quote, "rectified." Quote, "Out of those 81,000 people, how many know whatever happened or ever really care?" Jericho continued. "The hardcore fans and the journalists and the guys who do this care, and we should, but there's also fans, not just 81,000, but how about being number one on cable, once again, 4 weeks in a row?" When asked by co-host Bully Ray whether the company is better now than it was a month ago, Jericho replied with a definitive yes. Though his name never came up in the conversation, there's no denying who the elephant in the room was there, CM Punk. Of course, Punk, as we mentioned previously, was fired from AEW last month after an alleged altercation backstage at AEW All In between himself and Jack Perry, with AEW owner Tony Khan feeling physically threatened with his life in danger as well. Now, Rob Van Dam is going to be competing on AEW Collision tonight on TNT, and the match that he's going to be competing in has now been confirmed. He is set for tag team action on Collision. Rob Van Dam stunned the wrestling world when Jerry Lynn introduced him to AEW to try and shut the mouth of then AEW FTW champion Jack Perry. Perry has shown a new attitude in recent weeks and has run down ECW, the promotion where the FTW title originated with Taz. That led to a match between the Hall of Famer and Jack Perry for the title on Dynamite in Columbus, Ohio. The match was held under FTW rules, but Perry still took the low road as he nailed RVD below the belt before driving him face first into a chair before a roll-up, complete with a handful of tights for the victory. But now Rob Van Dam is heading back into the ring and will be part of a big tag team match in his home state of Michigan tonight on Collision. Back in the days of ECW, Rob Van Dam formed quite a rivalry with current AEW announcer Taz. But now the WWE Hall of Famer will team with Taz's son Hook as they will take on Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool Hand Angelo Parker tonight on Collision. Joining that bout on the card will be Bryan Danielson taking on Ricky Starks in a Texas death match, Andrade El Idolo facing Jay White, and Willow Nightingale meeting Julia Hart. 2 titles will also be defended on the show as FTR will put their AEW World Tag Team titles on the line against the Workhorsemen, while Luchasaurus' TNT title will be up for grabs in a three-way match with Darby Allin as well as Christian Cage. What are your thoughts on Rob Van Dam being in tag team action tonight? Now, it's been a big week for Eddie Kingston, of course, this week, becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion, as well as successfully defending his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. But Ring of Honor World and New Japan Strong Openweight Champion Eddie Kingston has announced that he's stepping away from independent wrestling. Kingston took to Instagram to announce that following his Ring of Honor World title victory, he has made the decision to stop taking indie bookings. He explained that he's currently dealing with a back injury, so he wants to ensure that he's healthy enough to wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and AEW. Kingston wrote on social media, quote, "Due to being New Japan Strong Openweight and Ring of Honor champion, I have come to the hard decision that I will have to stop doing independence. Dealing with a lower back injury right now that I need to get fixed and will, so I can be ready for all New Japan Strong shows and all 3 AEW shows. When my responsibilities as New Japan and Ring of Honor champion is over, I will hopefully be able to start doing independence again. I apologize to all, but I just need to focus and my body needs to be ready for those shows." Kingston captioned this post, "I love the independents, but times have changed. I am truly sorry for not being able to do them right now, but I am truly no bullshit trying to be the best champion for both New Japan Strong and Ring of Honor and must put that above everything else right now. This sucks." Kingston, of course, defeated Claudio Castagnoli to win the Ring of Honor World Championship at AEW Dynamite Grand Slam this week. His New Japan Strong Championship was also on the line, which he previously won from Kenta back in July. The popular star had to have been pulled from several independent shows prior to his most recent title victory, with Kingston most recently removed from the September 16 card for Absolute Intense Wrestling. It was also actually reported and announced today by Defy Wrestling that they found out that Kingston wasn't going to be on their upcoming show, actually when Kingston announced it on social media, with them not knowing allegedly prior to Kingston making the statement. So let me know your thoughts about that as well. Of course, it's been a big week for releases in WWE, and possibly the biggest is Dolph Ziggler, considering his tenure with the company. And 16-time world champion Ric Flair has paid tribute to Dolph Ziggler in a heartfelt social media post following Ziggler's WWE exit. Following 19 years with WWE, Ziggler was one of 23 stars released this past week. Fans and wrestlers alike have taken to social media with tributes for the former 2-time world champion, a testament to the respect Ziggler had earned during his WWE career. Admittedly, seeing the news of the releases later than others, 2-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair took to social media to celebrate Ziggler's near 2-decade tenure in WWE, while also highlighting his personal friendship with the show-off. He wrote the following, quote, "Shame on me for being so busy that I haven't kept up with the releases at WWE. I just hope that each and every one of you know that at the end of the day, we all love wrestling, but it's a business first and foremost. I still, after retiring in 2008, remember the day that I had to walk away from being one of the most difficult days of my life. And as for my dear friend Dolph Ziggler, who has been my close friend for 20 years, you have been nothing less than the best professional and the best at everything you have been called upon to do. A leader, a champion, and a man of unquestionable character. I'll never forget the letter you wrote to me in the hospital. I know we will be successful in life because that's who you are. I look forward to our next meeting and two dirty martinis with extra olives." Now, Flair wasn't the only one to pay tribute to Ziggler, a legend in pro wrestling in Ric Flair, because also John Cena posted a heartfelt tribute to Ziggler, saying, quote, 1,554 matches at Dolph Ziggler, #respect. In addition to that, The Rock also posted a heartfelt tribute to Dolph Ziggler as well, writing on his social media, saying, quote, "Just seeing all these releases now, these days are so effing tough for the ones who gave their all to our crazy world of pro wrestling. Like Dolph Ziggler. What a decorated WWE career, and I'll always be a supporter and fan. Can't wait to see what he and everyone does next. #onwards. So several WWE legends paying tribute to Dolph Ziggler. Finally, a bit of an update when it comes to the Dudley boys as well, because this is quite interesting, because we've recently seen Team 3D reunite on Impact Wrestling's 1000th episode, but news broke several weeks ago that the Dudley boys, Devon and Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, whatever you want to call him, had re-signed with WWE on Legends contracts, and fans wondered what that meant for their future within the company, whether they could return to WWE television, what it would mean if they both wanted to sign long-term contracts with Impact Wrestling. Devon has opened up about wanting to be more regular in the ring now that he is out of retirement. Now, typically, talent signed to Legend contracts feature sporadically on WWE TV for Legend specials and see their likeness used for merchandise and video games, etc. Now, speaking to PW Insider's Mike Johnson, Devon confirmed that they had in fact signed Legends deals with WWE, with the Hall of Famer revealing that they in fact put pen to paper many months ago prior to this news even being reported. Devon said, quote, "We did sign Legends deals. It was a few months back, so I was very shocked when I saw reports that we had signed Legends deal because it made it seem like we had just signed it the other day or a few days prior, and we didn't. The Dudley boys will now be in new action figures, in video games. It's more merchandise. That I'm happy to say. We did sign a Legends deal, and we'll see what happens from there." Of course, this comes after Devon's exit from WWE in January after previously working as a producer. Despite returning to WWE in a sense, Devon clarified that he doesn't expect there to be any in-ring WWE return for the legendary duo in the company anytime soon, while also ensuring that he held no ill will with the company after he was released from his role at the beginning of the year. While a return to a WWE ring may be off the table right now for the Dudley boys, Bully Ray and Devon did recently reunite as Team 3D once again at the Impact 1000 special, competing against the Desi Hit Squad in tag team action. So you never know when it comes to the Dudley boys back in WWE, but as of right now, just looks like it's going to probably be in Impact. But there you go, guys. This is the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.